3 for 3. Here we go. Okay. Baby Rizzo. Third one for the night. Target of the Void. You know the drill. So, yeah, I still working my way through this. And, yeah. The other day I actually watched... It's actually the same day that I watched all 3 of these films. Blood Tide, this one, and Heavy Metal. So, I guess it makes sense for me to review them all on the same day also. Okay. Creature from the Haunted Sea. Now, this was not what I was expecting going into this one. Now, this is one of those movies is fairly well known as being a classic bad movie. But I was actually kind of surprised about how much I was enjoying watching this one. Okay, Creature from the Haunted Sea, 1961. How to describe this movie, because it's weird. So, a spy gets involved with a Cuban uprising where the Cubans are trying to smuggle some gold out using some mafia men, but the mafia guys are determined to double-cross the Cubans, despite having a Cuban general on the boat that they're refusing to smuggle out the gold. So they decide to invent a monster legend out in the middle of the ocean to frame a monster for killing off some of the Cubans one by one, and then using that as an excuse to veer off course, dump the gold, and then come back for it later, with the Cubans being none the wiser that they'd been betrayed. All the while the American secret agent is doing all he can to keep tabs on what's actually going on. Okay, sure. I'm on board with all that. But this movie's weird. Now, I didn't realize this was as much of a comedy as it actually was. Now, I know that now. And the thing is, this movie is actually kind of funny. Now, as a horror film, it fails in all regards. The monster, in particular, looks really ridiculous. I mean, wow. This thing would have been rejected from the Addams Family episodes. No. But in the fact of how silly the movie is, makes it kind of work. Why is this a comedy? Well, the spy is an utter failure, clumsy and constantly getting the wrong impressions, while he is completely and utterly infatuated with the gun moll of the mafia group, despite her having absolutely no interest in him. He's constantly promising to help take her away from all this, which is effectively blowing his cover. But she does not care at all about what he is saying and just proceeds to ignore him throughout most of the film. Now, the mafia group themselves, now they are out there. You got the leader, the Rizzo, or I think he goes, or Renzo. So he's pretty standard. And then Maribel, the gun moll, she's a little over the top, but still pretty standard mafia. It's the 2 other guys that are with him that are out there. Her brother, Happy Jack, which is, they say he's always smiling because he got this weird facial tic, and he's not a smart guy. And then there's, I can't remember his name, but he's most noted for communicating primarily in animal sounds because he lost it some years ago. I mean, he can talk, but almost all his dialogue is animal noises. And then you have the Cuban general and the Cuban colonel, which are currently at odds, and there's a lot of shenanigans there. And once you get to they end up eventually their boat's wrecked, and they have to take the dinghy out to an island, mostly which is the plan of the mafia guys, to try to find a way to dump the treasure. They end up running into several island girls and end up completely infatuated with them, creating those weird love triangles that the movie more focuses on than the monster. I mean, the animal guy finds a woman out there who also makes a bunch of animal calls, so they instantly fall in love, despite her being like 10, 15 years older than him. In fact, she has a daughter, which she immediately tries to get with the secret agent. His name is Sparks, despite Sparks being infatuated with the... Oh, no, sorry, she introduces him to Happy Jack. Because Happy Jack's infatuated with this other girl who's infatuated with Sparks, who's infatuated with the gunball. Are you still following me? I'm not even following me anymore. So, the romantic subplots of this movie are convoluted as all hell. But it is kind of hilarious to watch. So, just seeing these characters, these over-the-top personalities, just playing back and forth off each other, made the movie hypnotic. I won't say it's a great film by any means, but I was surprised at how watchable it actually was. I can't really give this one like a full 3 MacGuffins because the quality is down there, particularly in the monster design. But I have to give it a high 2. 2 MacGuffins, but a high one. Now the monster itself, they offer no explanation of where this thing came from. I mean, Renzo says he heard a story about a possible monster in these waters, so he decides to make up his own story. So, and then when his boys kill one of the guys, at the same time, the monster happens to come up and kill one. So, I guess there's the monster. Then they go way off course, but the monster, I guess, follows them. And the monster actually doesn't pick off too many characters. It's more the mafia guys bumping off people, and the monster is getting blamed. But the monster does go after some of the mafia guys, so... Where it came from? I don't know. Did they really resolve the monster? Not really. Heck, the monster pretty much gets the gold by the end of it. But the movie was charming in its way, so... Yeah. I'll give it 2 MacGuffins. That's fair. Now, I've noticed that this one was a remake of an earlier film called Naked Paradise, and it's been remade, which was also remade as, Beast from Haunted Cave, which was made at about the same time as Creature from the Haunted Sea. It's kind of a similar vibe there. But then this one's been remade itself a couple times as Up from the Depths, Demon of Paradise, and then there's just been an actual straight-up remake just called Creature from the Haunted Sea. This recently as 2019, so there is some love for this movie out there for it to get this continued level of attention. I say give it a watch. It's kind of fun. Alright. I'm done for the night. I'm going to bed. Good night, everybody.